Okay, then from last class, we talk about if and nested if function. Okay, if and nested if function. So today we are going to talk about some more functions that we have to use, okay, in order to make the decision. Our last class, okay, you can see that we use the nested if in order to just like make decisions like for like many decision making. For example, you have many conditions, okay, that you have to make a decision. And also, for example, the first example of nested if that I told you was that when we have to make a decision, okay, we would like to judge the commission rate, okay, when we have like to consider the sales amount, and when we have like different amount of sales amounts, that means the percentage of the commission can be varied. So we normally use the nested if in order to make a decision. Okay. Same as the second one. Okay. The second example for the nested if was that whenever we have to talk about like show the word have class or no class, okay, you can see that we have like many conditions as well. Okay, for example, we have like class on many days except some days. For example, if we don't have class on Thursday and we don't have class on Friday, we would like to show them as no class. In this case, we use the if function, the nested if function as well. So you can see that the reason why we call this kind of if as a nested if, because when we need to talk about like the if, okay, actually in the what to say, in the format of the if, we have to use like some of the syntax like this. Okay, let me just like use this one once again. Okay. For the if function, you can see that if we have the basic if, okay, it looks like this. We have if logical test, comma value if true, comma value false. If it is the basic if, that means inside the logical test, you have just one logical test only. This is what we call the basic if. But in this example, you can see that we have two if inside one cell. You can see that this one, this is the the outmost, okay, the outermost if, and inside when we have like the logical test, you also have another if inside. This is the inner if. This is the outer if. If you have the inner if and outer if here, you can see that the inner if here we use to make a decision as well to show no class or have class. While the outer if here, okay, you show no class, and then in here we have another part of the value of false, okay, to check once again. So that's why we call this one as the nested if. So when we talk about the nested if already, sometimes we also have like some condition to be tested in the same cell. Okay. What do I mean? For example, you can see that in this from this example here in example 2 of the nested if, there are 2 days that you have no class, okay? And there are 3 days that you have class. So instead of using if and if, okay, like this, we can just like use like some other functions to help as well. So today I'm going to talk about the functions that what we call the and or function in Microsoft Excel. Okay, and or function in Microsoft Excel. So for and or function here, I just want you to see the syntax first, and then I'll explain. Okay. Okay. When you go to add another function, you just click on FX button, and then you just like type, we start with and function first, and then I click go. So and function here, okay, followed by logical 1, logical 2. So what does it mean? Okay. In here, okay, for the and function, when you see that there are like more than one logical value to be tested here, it means that if you have many conditions, you can put in the and function here, and it checks whether all arguments are true. All arguments are true. So that means if you say that, okay, you do something if this logical test 1 is true and logical test 2 is true. So in this function, it will compare each logical value 1 at a time. Okay. For example, if logical 1 is true and logical 2 returns you to the true and means it's true, something like that. I'll just like talk about the table of comparison or a table of fact later on. So you can see that in here we have like logical 1, logical 2, and dot dot dot. In this one, it means that whenever we would like to use an function to test, it can be used to test for more than one logical value, more than 2 logical values. For example, in this example, you can see that if we would like to check whether these are like the conditions are Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday or not. If there are like these 3 days, okay, you just like say that and should return true. Just a little bit more before we talk about function and in detail. And function here returns 2 possible values, either true or false only. These values are what we call logical values. Okay, it tells us the state of true or the state of false only. So it does not return 1 or 2 or 3 or numbers, no. And function and all function, both of them returns just a logical value. So where can we find the logical value? It's here. When we use if you remember in here, the first part of if is logical test. Logical test here, after you test, it returns true or it returns false, right? So this one, logical value, can go to here, it fits here. So that means, if you ask me that where can we use and or function, normally we use it in the logical test of if. So that means when you use and function, it helps to support if functions that we use it before. For example, in here, okay, you can see that in this example, okay, we would like to check whether it's a day that we have class or not, right? So the things that we have to do, okay, I will just like show you with the and function first, okay, and after that, I'll just like put it in the if function, okay. Okay, let me just like copy this table, okay, to the new part, okay, it's here. Now, I'll use and function first, right? So, in order to use and, right? Okay, you have to know that how do we gonna formulate it. In this one, you have to make a decision. What would you like to do? Would you like to check whether it has class or whether it has no class? Okay. Okay, now I think I'll start from Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That are the days that we have class. So the things that we have to do is that we have to compare whether the value that we are checking is a day that we have class or not. Okay, that's the day that we have class or not. So in this one, I'll start with equals to and. Okay. and then I just put the day, Monday, comma, Tuesday, comma, Wednesday. Okay. So if I just like type the functions like this, what will happen? It will check, okay, for these 3 days. But actually, when you just like type like this, it's not completed yet, because if you just put Monday only here, it's not logical test because you haven't tested anything. The thing that you have to do is that you have to compare something with Monday to make it as the logical test. So for example, in here, you would like to just check or compare this one with this value, with this value, and with this value, whether they are equals to Monday or and Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday or not. Okay. So in here, suppose we just put and change this one. I just say that, okay, in this one, I just put equals to and the cell A47 equals to Monday or not. Okay, I just want to try one first. Okay, if I have one logical test inside, okay, if I just press enter, you can see that it says true. But if I just copy the value down, you can see that others will say false. Okay, because I just test the cell that the cell that I store the day, okay, with the word Monday only. Okay, right now, when I say that, okay, I would like to just like combine. I just want to combine two 2 days together. What will happen? Okay, what will happen? So you have to just like try to justify what conditions that you have to use. Okay, so you can see that in here. Suppose I say that, okay, I just like compare the conditions with this one. I say that, okay, A47 equals to Monday, comma, A47 equals to Tuesday, comma, A47 equals to Wednesday. In this one, you can see that I'm comparing this cell, okay, of A47 with precondition. It will return false for me. What happened? You can see that in here, this cell, okay, just store one value that is Monday. It will not be possible, or it's impossible to have the same cell to store Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. It's impossible. So that's why in this case, it seems like if I use and to compare like this, it doesn't work. So we have to just like use another way in order to compare instead. Okay, what is it? The next function that you have to learn at the same time together with and is the OR function. For the OR function, it chooses one out of these logical tests to be true, and then it returns true to you. Okay. So, okay, let's just like talk about the OR function and see what happens. Suppose I say that, okay, when I talk about OR function, it's similar to AND, because for the OR function, OR function OR function use the same syntax as AND, because it has OR followed by the logical test inside. Okay. If one out of these logical tests is true, it returns true to you immediately. Okay. So in this one, just one case only that makes this function to return false is that when every logical test inside is false, then it will return false to you. Okay. So in this one, okay, suppose I say that, okay, I want to compare, or, okay, and then I say that, okay, A47 equals to Monday, comma, A47 equals to Tuesday, comma, A47 equals to Wednesday. And then close the parenthesis. You can see that I use the same syntax as the AND function here. Sorry, AND function, this one, that I used before, and it goes wrong. Okay, just copy the formula here, and then in this one it was AND function that I told you that it's wrong. It's returned false, and it's wrong here because of what? You can see that in this example, we just like want to know that, okay, we just want to know that, okay, the day that you are comparing is one out of these lists or not. So that's why if you use AND, okay, to compare every day, I mean, like when you just like want to use this, you can see that Monday is just one day in the list only. It cannot satisfy Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's why it shows false in every single case. But anyway, one thing that you have to be careful when you use and or the logical test with the text. Right now, okay, you can see that when I just like use A47 equals to Monday, as Monday is a text that you type in, whenever you have to use anything that is a text data, you always have to use double quote to surround that text. Okay, for example, in here, you can see that I just want to compare whether the value in that box is the text Monday or not. Okay, I have to use double quote. So Monday, either you say that, oh, it's a day, it shouldn't be the text. But you can see that when we type the word Monday, it cannot be used to calculate anything. So that's why it is a text. But if you say that, okay, you have the data like this. For example, you type today's date, 28/9/2020. In here, this is the date. Okay, so you don't need to use double quote. If you use the date like this can be countable, can be calculatable. For example, suppose you say that, okay, you have two different dates like this. These two dates can be used to find the difference, okay, or the distance between these two dates. And when you use a function to calculate the date, this one returns 2. That means the difference between these two days are 2 days. Or you can also just like calculate that how many hours is different between these 2 days. So if you use the calculate the date calculation function, it will return 48 hours. While Monday and Tuesday like this, in column A that we have, if you subtract Monday with Tuesday or Tuesday with Monday, it's error. That's nothing because you cannot subtract text with the text. So that's why we call it as a text. And you can see that when it is a number or when it is a date. Okay, so easily to notice. When you just like have a look, it will be right aligned. Okay, if you don't set anything before, just like the general format of these text, of these values are right aligned. While the text, you can see that this one, okay, is a text, it's left aligned. Class status here is a text, it's left aligned. And when you use nested if to compare, you can see that for the comparison result, you have the word no class and you have the word have class. And when you put double quotes, it is a text as well. So that's why it's just left aligned. Okay, right. Okay, right now, when we just like want to just use the OR function and AND function, you can see that in here. Okay, if I use AND OR. Another thing that I told you that you have to be careful is here. If you have a look in here, you can see that if it's correct one, okay, when it is Monday or it is Tuesday or it is Wednesday, they have to show true, okay, they have to show true. But in this one, you can see that on Tuesday it shows false, unfortunately. What happened? Then you have to go and check in your formula. When I check formula, normally I check from the original formula that I type in the first row in here. And after that, I just like copy it once again. So in this one, okay, I delete the rest of them first so that I will not be confused. In this one, you can see that if I double click, Tuesday, I misspell it. So that's why it just showed the error to me for Tuesday to report the status of true, something like that. Now I just correct it and then I copy. Yeah. So you can see that on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, they show true to us. Okay, this is what we want. And then we use if function to cover this and all function once again. So in this one, okay, in this one, let me just like show you the table of facts first. Okay, if you study for logic class, I'm sure that this table of facts, you just like every logic course always use this fact. Okay, for this one. Okay, it will be like this. If you have fact A and B, if the state of these facts are like this, when A is true and B is true, okay, A and B is true too. For example, if we would like to go to watch a movie, okay, and there are two facts, okay, the first one is sunny, second one we have money. So that means if today is sunny and we have money, we go to watch the movie. So this is A and B. Okay, is true. Now, okay, let's see the next one. I just like fill up the A and B first. Okay. If we say that A is sunny day, B, fact B is we have money. Okay. Next one. Fact A, it's sunny. Yeah. But fact B say that we don't have money or we have no money. When these two status are not true, one out of these are not true or is not true, we don't go to watch the movie. So this one, it returns false to us. Next, if A is false is that it's not sunny. Okay, it's not sunny. So that means A is false. While we have money, we don't go to watch the movie. And lastly, it's not sunny and we don't have money. We don't go. So just one possible way that we go is that when it's sunny and we have money. On the other way, if we use or returns more true than false, that means if just only one condition that we have is true, okay, it returns true already. So for sure, if A and B true in here. It's sunny, or we have money we would like to go, and or we have money we would like to go. So this one, it returns true. Okay. If it's sunny but we don't have money, okay, we want to go anyway, then we go. If it is not sunny but we have money, we want to go anyway, then it returns true. And lastly, this is the only chance that our function returns false. That means it's not sunny, or we don't have money. It returns false. This is table of facts that we learned from the logic class. Now we just fill up. Okay, we just fill up these table of facts. Okay, for this part by using and or function that we learned today. What will happen? Okay, I'll use and or. Okay, so in here, okay, I just start equals to and A and B here. Okay, now I'm comparing these two values together. You may have the question like, hey, we just like learned before that and must be followed by the logical test. So you have to understand that for logical tests, it is the way that we want to know whether it's true or false. And this one, it's true already or false already. So we can just like use A56 or B56 to represent the argument of this function straight away. So in this one, when you have and true comma true like this, it returns true to us. Same as others. Okay, if I copy the formula, the rest three of them will return false. Okay, because it compares true and false. It compares false and true, and it compares false and false. When we have this one, okay, the last one, for the OR function, we do the same thing. We put equals to OR, followed by these two arguments. You can see that when we copy this formula, it returns the same, absolutely the same as the table of facts that we just like learned from logic. So this one, we can use like and OR function in here to return true and false. Okay. So this one is the basic return of true and false in and OR function. How do we gonna use? And OR function together with if? Okay. So we are going to just like replace just true and false like this to be value have class or no class. Okay, have class or no class. Okay. So as I told you earlier, for and function doesn't work in this example, or is okay. Okay, because you can see that the original function that we have to check, it should be Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. It is not Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday. No, we don't do like that. So that's why when we have to use or, with the class status like this, okay, what are we going to do? You can see that in here we have all function like this, right? Okay. What do we want? We said that, okay, if it is true, you will show have class. If it is false, you show no class. So the things that I have to do is that, okay, I will put the logical test of this one to replace or to substitute the logical test part in here. And value if true here, I just show have class. And value if false, show no class, like this. Okay, so in this one, okay, the things that I have to do is that I just put equals to if. Okay, and then I start with or function. A47 check against Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. This one. Okay, I forget to close one parenthesis. Yep. This one, you can see that the logical test part is finished already. It's here. This part, I will use or to substitute logical test. Then I need the value if true and value if false. Value if true is showing have class, while value is false is that it will show no class. Okay, right. So you can see that the word have class here is value if true. The word no class, substitute value if false is here. So when I just press enter, you can see that, hey, what's going on? Then you have to check what happened to this one. Okay. A47 with Monday. Oh, I forgot this one. A47 equals to Tuesday. A47 equals to Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. So if the logical passage is not completed, it will show the word value to you. Okay. That means some value is missing. When we have this and you press enter, it shows have class. Then when I copy, you can see that for Thursday or Friday, it shows the word no class instead. It shows the word no class instead. This is the if function when you just like have to use and or function. You can see that in here. One thing that is changed is that for this one, okay, let me just like copy just this formula to show you. Okay, this is this function, right? While this one, if you use nested if, okay, sorry, this one. What happened is you can see that, okay, for this one, the old one that we did before, this one is nested if. Wow, this one, it is just basic if only. You can see that there is just one if inside in this cell. Okay, the rest of them are just all functions. So it depends on you. If some condition, in some condition, or when you have to test the condition and you found that this if condition will make you just the nested if condition will make you confused, you may use and or function instead to help you. Okay, you may use or function to help you. Right. Okay. This is if and nested if function. Okay. So up to this point, do you have any questions? So in this one, I'll open it. I'll open the exercise for you today after class, so that you can just like practice. When you have to apply if, nested if, and or function, and you have any problems, I suggest you to just like discuss with me. So the things that we may do is that firstly, you just appoint me if you just like want to ask me is how you do this one is correct or not. We just like chat over line messenger, and then we appoint the time. If you would just like want me to see it, you can just like use the Zoom in order to just talk to me and then share your screen to me too, so that I can just like help fixing the problem if some parts you misunderstand, or if some part you think it's correct, and then you would like me to confirm that it's really correct, right? Okay, then any questions for if, nested if, and then for the what to say, if, nested if, and then and an all function. Okay, if you don't have any questions about like if and nested if function and an all function, I'll talk about the next function, that is what we call financial functions in Microsoft Excel, right? So this one, I would like you to just create or insert the new sheet. To insert the new sheet, just click plus sign and then just type financial function. This function is useful for you whenever we have to just like complete like lots of things in Microsoft Excel. For example, suppose in the future, okay, firstly, let me ask you first. Everyone, could you please type me to tell me in the chat box, okay, who have taken, who took subject business finance already? Who took business finance already? Or who is taking business finance? Please type in the chat box to tell me. Do we have anyone who take business finance already or is taking? None of you? Okay. All right. So everyone, do you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello, do you still hear me, everyone? Okay, thank you. Thanks for telling me. Yes means that you are still hearing me, or you take business finance already. Oh, hearing. Okay, thank you. Okay, then let's talk about the finance. Okay, business finance. Thank you, Pasut, for telling me. Thank you, Avika and Namrata, for telling me that it's hearing. Okay, right. Okay, for finance subject or business finance subject, that is like the subject for every single business student to learn, and it's important because in the future, when you have to just like calculate anything about the money inside your business, okay, you need to know about like the business finance stuff or the financial thing. For example, if you say that your company would like to what to say, borrow the money from the bank, okay, borrow the money from the bank, the things that you also have to do is that the bank normally they don't give you for free, okay, they don't give you the money for free. After you return them, firstly, with for example, if you say that you want to expand your business and you would like to have, let's say, 5 million baht, 5 million baht for a loan from a bank. You want to ask for 5 million baht from a bank. Later on, once you do the business, you have to return the money to the bank. Okay, for sure. Those 5 million baht you have to return. What else? You have to return the money to the bank too. Okay. Class, can you tell me, apart from 5 million baht that you borrow from the bank? Okay. Pasut, you said that, okay, Nathan, you said apart from that, it should be interest. That's correct. So that means when you return, you have to return the first part is what we call principal. Okay. And the other part is what we call interest. Suppose we say that we borrow the money, 5 million baht from the bank, and once you return, they charge you 1 million baht. Okay, 1 million baht. And you say that the period that you borrow the money from the bank is 1 year only. So that means in 1 year, when you return to the bank, the money to the bank, you have to pay interest for 1 million baht. So 1 million baht here, normally, when we talk about borrowing or asking for a loan from the financial institution, we just like don't talk about the amount of money. That is the interest. But normally, the interest is comes in terms of percent. Okay, comes in terms of percent. Okay, so what does it mean? If you say that, okay, you want to know how much did you pay, how many percent of the interest did you pay for this loan? So you divide 1 million. You divide 1 million with the principal. So it's 1 over 5, that is 20%. So that means the bank charge you 20% per year. They charge you 20% per year. Okay. Sometimes the bank might tell you to feel like it's cheaper. It's cheap. Sorry, not cheaper. It's cheap. Okay. What will they do? In this example, you can see that you have to pay 20% per year, right? You have to pay 20% per year. How does the bank make you feel that this one is not expensive? They will say that, okay, instead of telling you 20% per year, they may tell you that, okay, they divide this one to be percent per month. In order to make from percent per year to be per month, they divide 20% by 12. Okay, so 20%, sorry, 20% by 12. Okay, I'll make it as a percent. It is equals to 1.667%. You can see that when the customer hear that, oh, it's just 1.667%, it sounds like cheap. But actually, don't forget that the unit 1.667% is percentage per month, while 20% is 20% per year. So this is the way that normally the financial institution will tell you, okay, for percentage of the interest by specific period of time, right? So apart from this one, when you have to pay to the bank, if you remember the case that I told you that we borrow 5 million baht, okay, and we have to return 5 million baht plus 1 million baht interest in here. When you have to return to the bank, you have to think first, how frequent will you return? How frequent will you return? Normally, we don't pay 5 plus 1, okay, that is 6 million after 1 year pass. Normally, we don't do like this. We may just like pay them monthly or quarterly. Sometimes, if it is a personal loan, some of the people might want to pay, weekly. Or in some cases, you might want to pay like fortnightly. Fortnightly means every 2 weeks, something like that. So the frequency of payment is important as well, because it's used to justify like how much do you have to pay per period of time, per month, per quarter, per week, or per fortnight. So in this one, you have to just like, for example, if the total is 6 million baht, you have to divide them by, if it is monthly, and you say that you want to pay all the debt in a year, that means you have to divide by 52, so that it become like the weekly payment, something like that. But if you say that, oh, I want to pay every month, so you have to divide this amount by 12 instead. So we'll talk about in detail when we reach the part of the financial functions that you have to know. Okay, so if you study for the business finance subject, the things that Ajahn will teach you is that how you get this kind of values manually. The tools that you may use is calculator. Okay, but in this subject, I just like want you to utilize a tool that is Microsoft Excel to help you for calculating this. Okay, so the answer is like the same, is the same, or like significantly the same or similar. Okay, right. So the things that you have to use, or the things that you have to know, is that what function in the financial function series that you have to learn. I will just like talk about the two series of financial functions. Okay, the first series of the financial function that we will learn is that we will talk about the functions PMT. FV, PMT, FV, enter, PV, and rate. And rate. This is the first series. While the second series, we will learn about the function IPMT, EPMT, and then IRR. Okay, these are like two series of the functions that we have to learn. Why do I have to separate them into two series? Okay, because the first series we just like talk about like the whole lot of the amount of money that we borrow, okay, or we just like invest. While the second series here, okay, it's like inside each period that you have to consider. Okay, while the IRR is like another story. So that's why I just like put them into the second series. Now, let's talk about the first series of functions first. PMT, FV, NPER, PV, and rate. Okay. For these functions, the reason why I group them together is that while they are functions, they also work as the arguments as well. What do I mean? When they are the arguments, it means that when we start talking about function PMT, let's say, PMT need to use FV, NPER, PV, and rate as its argument. While we go to FV function needs PMT, NPER, PV, and rate as its argument as well. Okay, so that's why they have to go together. Okay, so I'll start talking about the PMT function first, and then I'll show you the arguments inside and the example. So everyone, just go to, in order to go to start PMT function, firstly, you may just click on FX and type PMT straight away. Or in this one, because it's a financial function, you can go to the menu formula, and then you can see group of financial function. It's here. Once you click on financial function, you can see that, okay, PMT is here. You can just click and then just like start using it. Okay. So now, when we talk about these series of functions, you need to have like two assumptions that you have to know. There are two assumptions. Assumption number one, okay, we must have constant payment. What does it mean? It means that if you say that you borrow the money for 2 years and you want to pay it monthly, every month you pay, you have to pay equally. That is the meaning of constant payment. You pay equally for every time that you pay. You can't tell that, okay, if this month I pay $100, next month I pay $200. So you can't use this formula. Okay. Then you have to use like other more advanced functions instead. Okay. This one can just like be used when you just like pay equally each time only. That is the first one. Second assumption is that you must have constant interest rate. So what does it mean? It means that if you borrow the money from the bank and the bank said that they charge you 2% per month, okay, that means for the whole contract period, they can't change the rate. It must be 2% for always. Otherwise, these functions couldn't be used for calculating this, right? So these are like two assumptions that we have to know, okay, whenever we have to use these series of functions, okay, right? Okay, when we have these two assumptions already, okay, how do we gonna do this? Okay, let me just like show you the first example, the PMT function first. Okay, the PMT function first. Okay, suppose I click here to put PMT and then click go, so that I just want you to see the description of this function. The PMT function here calculates the payment. PMT stands for payment. Okay, calculates the payment for a loan. Okay, based on constant payment and a constant interest rate. So you can see that constant payment, constant interest rate here must be applied. They always just write down in the description of this series of functions. Okay, so that the user of these functions will have to realize that these two assumptions must be applied. Otherwise, you can't use this function to calculate. Okay, so now let's see the arguments inside. PMT function needs to use rate, N per, PV, FV. See, it is the other functions that I told you. They are the arguments of this function. Apart from that, you have one more spatial argument. This is what we call type. Okay, I'll just like talk about it next on. A little more thing that you have to know is the order of the function. Okay, in here you have PMT, and then you have rate, N per, PV, FV, and type. So in this one, you have to know that the order of the arguments cannot be shuffled. It means that you have to start with rate, followed by N per, followed by PV, followed by FV, and followed by type. If you switch, Excel will treat it as the other one. For example, if you just like accidentally shuffle N per and rate, PMT function will think that you use, for example, if rate is 2%, while NPER is 20, let's say. So if you just like put 20, comma 2%, something like that, Excel will think that 20 is the rate, 2% is NPER. That is wrong. So be careful. Don't shuffle it. So my suggestion is that when you just like use Excel more fluent than this step, okay? And if you have to use any functions with a lot of argument, I still like suggest you to use the function builder like this. If you use PMT, right? Use a function builder like this, so that it will be the guide for you, and then you not like put anything in the wrong place, because it shows you step by step what are we going to fill up, something like that. While some of the people, they type equals to PMT followed by blah blah blah, something like that. It might be possible that you're just typing the thing wrongly. Or if you really want to type the function by yourself, just have a look on the bubble here that is showing you what argument you are filling up right now. Okay, right. So just a little more before I talk about like the example of the PMT function. You can see that FV and type here, they are optional. As I told you earlier, whenever you see the square bracket, it means optional. Optional means that you may just like skip that value without entering it. For example, some of the function of the PMT, you may see like PMT followed by rate, NPER, and PV, and then they close the parenthesis. But by just like ignoring or skipping FV and type, what does it mean? If you skip, in Excel, they call it as omit. If you omit or if you skip these values, okay, they have like some default value to give it to you or to be entered automatically. So in this one, for FV, if you skip it, it will treat as if you put FV as 0. Okay. Type as well. If you skip it, in this case, it will treat type as 0 as well. Type, what does it mean? The type here means type of payment. If the type is 0, okay, that is a common case. Type 0 means that the payment made at end of period. For example, if you say that you want to pay monthly, okay, type is 0 means that you pay at the end of the month. If you pay quarterly, okay, if you pay quarterly, and then you skip type or put type as 0, it means that you pay at the end of the quarter. For example, if we're talking about like you pay quarterly, and normally you pay the first quarter is Jan to March, that means you pay at the end of March, something like that. That is the meaning of type of payment as 0. While the type of payment, if it is 1, it means that the payment made at start of period. For example, if you say that you pay monthly, and then you put the type of payment as 1, that means you pay on the first day of that month. Okay, this is the meaning of the type. Okay, right. Okay, now let's see. When we talk about like the PMT function here, okay, the things that make us to be understand easily is that we just use the example. Okay, we use the example here. I just copy the example to you in the chat box, and then you can copy it into your cell. Now I just copy it already. Okay. is in the chat box if you would like to just like use it here. Okay. In this one, let me explain to you when we get the problems like this. I'll just like explain to you what functions do we have to use, okay, and why do we have to use it, and can we use these financial function or not. In this case, you can see that you are asked to find monthly payment. So that means when you are asked for payment, doesn't matter it's monthly payment or quarterly payment or whatever payment, but you are asked to find the payment. So the function that you have to think about is PMT. Okay, this one is for monthly. Oh, sorry, this is for payment. And then in this one, it said that okay, on a loan of 50,000, that means you borrow the money. Okay, that means it should be okay to use this function. And you want to pay off. Pay off means that you want to close the debt over 5 years. Paid off in full for over 5 years. That means you want to just like close this amount of money that you borrow plus the interest by 5 years. Okay. With interest rate of 5% per year. Yeah, it tells us for the interest rate. And it also tells us that when we have to pay, we pay at the end of each month. So in this one, okay, if in this class, okay, especially for the midterm examination, when you have a problem to calculate like some functions, I mean in terms of financial function like this, normally the conditions that I told you, they just like fulfill. That means, okay, you just like pay equal interest rate, okay, or constant interest rate, and you pay it equally every time, or you pay it constantly. So in this case, okay, we can use PMT function. So when we can use PMT function, what do we have to do? The things that we have to do is that I just like put all arguments that PMT function needs. For PMT functions, okay, PMT, it needs rate, N per PV, FV, and type, right? Then I type rate, N per PV, FV, and type. Okay. These are like all arguments that this problem wants. After that, I just like try to substitute these numbers, these values or these arguments by the numbers. Okay. So when I read this problem, you can see that in this case, it said that okay, you have loan of 50,000. That means you borrow the money from a financial institution for $50,000. So 50,000, what is it? When you ask for a loan, okay, it is the money that you get from the bank. When do you get? Normally the bank gives you on the first day or day one that you borrow. So in this one, we call it as present value. Present value means the amount of money or the value of money that you have on day one. Okay. The money that you have on day one. So in this case, if I just put PMT function, just have a look. In this one, it tells us as well. PMT here, start with rate, and per PV, FV, and type. Then I just go to PV first. PV is the present value. That is total amount that a series of futures payments is worth now. Means that the money that you have now, okay, in here. So the present value here is 50,000. You type 50,000. Next, you want to pay off in full over 5 years. So there are two things that I just want to see. The first one is that you see that 5 years is the period of time, right? 5 years is the period of time. But you have to know that how frequent do you have to pay. In this one, it said monthly. Okay, it is monthly. Where do we gonna put 5 years and monthly together? That is about the time or period of time that you have to consider. When you have to consider time or period of time, okay, let's see. I just like show you in the function EMT once again. In here, it is on n per or number of period. N per or number of period that you have to pay. In this one, number of period here means the total number of period from day 1 to the end of contract. How many times do you have to pay in total? Manit, yes, it's 60. It's 60. Sorry, 60, because it's 5 years times 12. Because each year you pay monthly. That is 12 times per year, and then you want to pay in 5 years. It's 60 times or 60 months. So in this one, okay, I put n per number of period as 5 times 12. Okay, it's 60 times. After that, what else? The next word that I want you to notice in this example is paid off in full. Paid off in full means that when the time goes by, when you finish 5 years already, you have no more debt. No more debt after 5 years. What does it mean? It means that in the future, after 5 years, you have no more debt. So this one is the meaning of FV. It's the meaning of FV. Let's see for the FV, what is FV in this case? Sorry. This is TMT. Okay. For the FV, it is a future value or a cash balance you want to attain after the last payment is made. That means you want to pay off the debt. That means on the day on the last payment, the amount of money that you still like owe the bank is 0. Okay. In this one, you can see that it said 0 if omitted. Means that if you don't enter any value, Excel will treat this value as 0. Okay, but I just suggest you, when we just begin, I just want you to put its value. If it is 0, just type 0. Okay. So in this case, FV is 0. The next one, the interest rate of 5% per year. This one you have to be careful, because like some of the students, they miss this part because of the interest rate. Interest rate, it said that 5% per year, but you have to consider how many times in a year that you pay. How many times in a year that you pay. You can see that in here it said monthly payment. It means that you pay 12 times per year, isn't it? You pay 12 times per year or 12 times in a year. So that means you have to change interest rate to be the rate per each time you pay as well. So in this one, you have to change it to be the rate per month. And how to make the rate to be the rate per month? You have to divide 5% by 12. Okay, you have to divide 5% by 12, not multiply. If you multiply, it means that you pay a lot more. Okay, but this one, because you pay just like in a smaller amount each month, the interest rate should be like divided to be just smaller than 5% as well. So in this case, the rate here, I put 5% divided by 12. Okay, 5% divided by 12. And you can see that in here. Let me just change it to be the percentage format first. Percentage, 3 digits, decimal point, 0.4%. You can see that it looks smaller than 5%, right? But if you just multiply them by 12, it's the same. It's 5% anyway, right? Okay, now the last one. Payment made at end of each month. It means that, okay, end of each month here, it tells us that the type is 0. Okay, because type 0 means pay at the end of each period. Okay, now if you just like put or have a look at the PMT function once again, you can see that type here, okay, 0 means payment at the end of the period. And this one, we say that we want to pay at the end of each month, you have to put type as 0. Okay, these are like all of the arguments that PMT function needs. So I put, okay, function payment of PMT, and then I put rate, N per, PV, FV, and type. You can see that in here, the formula result show us the intermediate result as negative 943.56. Let me just show you. Okay, this one you have to change it to be dollar sign, not Thai baht. Some of you may have the question that if it is the negative value, is it wrong? I can tell you that this is not wrong. This is correct. What does it mean? You can see that every time when the function returns negative values to you, or when you have to enter some argument, you have to think of the positivity, the value of the money as well. Okay, yeah, I can call it as a positivity of the values. When it should be negative or when it should be positive, and what do they mean? If the value is positive, okay, it means that money is in the pocket. Okay. While it is negative, the negative means that money is out of the pocket. This is the meaning. Or I can say that the money is with you, or you have to pay the money. So it justifies the negativity or positivity of the amount of the money. For example, PMT returns negative 943.56 means that we pay out $943.56 each month. We pay out each month. Now, the next thing that I just want you to consider is here. You can see that PV here is positive. Positive 50,000, right? What does it mean? Just have a look in here. I said that positive means money is in the pocket. So if I say that, okay, I just want to see this one, 50,000 means that $50,000 is in the pocket, is in our pocket. Money, once again, yeah, that's correct. Money is with us. Because of what? If you remember in here, we said that we have the loan for 50,000, and on day one that you borrow the money from the bank, they give it to you. So that's why the money is in your pocket, $50,000. That's why the symbol is plus or positive, 50,000. Okay, right? So this is just like the way to interpret the meaning. So what happens is sometimes if you enter the positivity of the of currency wrongly, for example, if instead of putting 50,000, you put negative 50,000, the meaning will be just opposite way around. This one means that 50,000 is out of your pocket. You can see that in here, PMT goes positive values instead. And if you do like this for this example, okay, suppose, assume that I said this one is the question in the exam and you do like this, okay, you get 0. You may say that, hey, we get 943.56 for PMT, but how do we get 0 point? The reason is because this one, when I just like mark the score, PV is negative 50,000 means that you on day one, you pay the money $50,000. That is wrong because this one is a loan. For the loan, on day one, you have to get the money, not pay the money. And apart from that, I just check on PMT. It is positive as well. That means every month you get the money 943.56. That is wrong because you are not the bank. You borrow the money from the bank, so that's why this one is wrong. So be careful whenever you have to put or formulate this function. Okay, you have to put the positivity of the values carefully. Okay.
Ajahn,
Yes.
I have a question about inserting the rate.
Yeah.
When I put it on my Excel sheet, it rounded up to 4.2% or 0.42%.
0.42%. Actually, if it is here, right? And then you just like use different decimal points, it is like this, right? You get the same as mine, 0.42, right?
Yes.
0.42 here is just displaying only. The real value is here. It's the same. For the 0.42, it's just display, no problem. It doesn't affect the calculation here because you can see that either it shows as 0.4166670% or it just shows 0.42%. The PMT doesn't change. See that? This one, there is no problem. This is just the displaying to show just how many decimal points should be shown here, just that. Okay.
Okay. And then for the PMT, the final amount, I got a positive number instead of a negative number.
You get the positive ones, right?
Yes.
Okay, that means you do something wrong with the argument. So, can you just like please show us? Can you please share your screen? I just like show you what's wrong with it.
Okay. Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Anthony, this one is not wrong. If you see the 943.65 here, in the parenthesis here is negative. It means the negative values.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just display as parenthesis instead of negative symbol.
Oh, this is the absolute value, right?
Not absolute value. This is in terms of accounting. When you write negative values in accounting, they put parentheses instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, right. Okay, then if you don't have any question, I have one more example. I want you to do it by yourself. I want you to do it by yourself. Okay, for the next example, I'll just like copy this problem for you in the chat box. So I give you 3 minutes to do that. I give you 3 minutes to do that. Time's up. Okay. So, okay, do I have a volunteer to show us for this example how you do that?
I can show you.
Yes, please, Anthony. Can you please show and then explain why you have to use like these values as the argument? Thank you. Yeah, you can share the screen.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so I basically just followed what we did in the example one. I wrote down the rate and per PVFV type. Quarterly payments into an investment which current value is $0, which is required to reach 5,000 over 2 years. The interest rate is 3.5% per year. So the rate I put 3.5%. The number of periods I put 16 because quarterly, actually that's not accurate. I should have put 8. It's 4 quarters in a year. Over 2 years, that should have been 8, I think.
Yeah.
See if that changes. Okay. Present value. I put 5,000, but we're starting at $0, so it should be starting at 0, right?
Yes,
And then
because you have to think on the first day.
Yeah.
Where is the money?
Right.
In this question, what did it tell you?
It says the first day, the current value is $0.
Yeah. So just follow it. Yeah.
And then, so that would be okay. FV 5,000. And the type I put 1 because we pay at the start of the quarter.
Yep.
And that gives us $533.70.
Why FV is 5,000?
Not sure actually. What does FV mean again?
Future value.
Future value.
5,000. Yeah.
Well, I put 5,000 because the future value, we're starting at $0, but the future value we're expected to reach 5,000 over 2 years.
Yep.
So
and then why positive 5,000, not negative 5,000?
Because it's an investment, so it'll increase in value over time because of the interest rate. Is that? I'm not sure actually.
I'm not sure actually. Okay. Right. So you put positive. Okay. Yeah. Have a positive thinking. That's good idea. But let's see whether it's correct or not. Okay. Thank you, Anthony. So you get the PMT as a negative 533.70. So what does it mean when you have negative 553.70? From this output, what does it mean from this number?
That means you're paying out if it's negative, right?
Paying out, right? So that means you pay out this amount, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So that means you pay out 533.70 each quarter. This is what you mean, right? In this example.
Right.
Okay. Okay, then thank you, Anthony. But just like keep on sharing the screen like this first.
Okay.
So the rest of you, do you get the same amount as like Anthony just show us on the screen? Who have different answer? Can you please type in the chat box? Popanit. Popanit, are you here? Popanit. Manit is different. Okay, C key has different rates. Okay, anybody else? Chirachiya, what do you get?
I get like him.
Same as him, right? Okay.
Yes.
Songyot,
Yeah, same. Yeah, the same.
the same. Okay. Right. Manit is different. C key is different too, right? If you have like different values of the arguments, you might, get the different values than the one that is showing on the screen. Okay, so I write it down first. Right now, and Anthony gets 533.70 in the negative values, right? Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Now, Manit, can you please show your calculation? Share your screen to us, please. Manit get 593 in negative, right? Okay, yeah. So, can you please explain to us how do you get this number?
So to start with rate, I did 3.6 divided by 12 multiplied by 4 because it's quarterly.
Yep.
And then N per because we pay every 4 months in 2 years. So I did 8 times.
Uh-huh.
And the present value is 0.
Uh-huh.
And the future value will be 5,000.
Yep.
And the type is 1 because it's paid at the start of each quarter.
Yep. So you
Yes.
get 593. You get 593. Okay. So right now Manit get 593, right? Okay, because you calculate the rate as 3.5 divided by 12 times 4, isn't it? Okay, I don't tell you whether you are correct or wrong yet. I just like want to see like some other different students to show us as well. Siki Lu, can you just like please share your screen to us? Mr. Siki Lu, could you please show us how you get there, how you calculate this? Okay, thank you.
Oh, hi. Basically, I'm doing the same thing, except my rate is 3.5% divided by 4.
Yeah. Okay, why 3.5 by 4?
Actually, I just trying to like apply the formula we used in the previous exercise. So I don't know why, but I just trying to use that formula.
Okay, right. So it seems like 3 different calculations from 3 of you, from Siki, from Manit, and from Anthony. The difference is the rate, right? The difference is the rate. For this calculation, Miss Siki just like show us that the rate is 0.88%, right? Can you please show us the formula? It is 5% by 12, isn't it? 5% by 12, isn't it? Double click. Yeah, you may double click to see. Yeah, it's the same. 5%, 3.5% by 4. Right. Okay. Right. So that makes like all the calculations to be different. Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Siki. Let me just like show all of you which one is the correct one and how do you gonna obtain that value. You can see that in here. Okay. Let me just like copy this to this one first. And then I just like remove all of this. Okay. In this one, okay, let me just like fill up others except the red first. Okay. Quarterly payment you want to just like do it in 2 years, right? In 1 year, okay, in 1 year or in each year. Quarter means 1/4, right? 1/4. That means 3 months, right? 3 months. Okay. So that means when you would like to pay in 2 years, it is 4 times per year by 2 years. That is 8 times you have to pay, right? And after that, current value is 0 or present value is 0. Future value, you want to reach 5,000. That means after 2 years pass, you would like to get 5,000, and the money will be with you in that after that 5 years. Sorry, after 2 years, you want the money with you. So that means the future value is positive 5,000. Okay. Payment made at the start of each quarter is 1. That is the beginning of the quarter. Now let's see the things that we have. The problem is about the rate. You can see that the rate here, it said that 3.5% per year. Okay. If you want to make it as rate per quarter, you can see that as 1 year you have 4 quarters. You have to divide rate per year by 4 to get rate per quarter. Okay, to get rate per quarter. So this one, if you get equals to 3.5% divided by 4. Okay, this should be the rate per quarter. Okay, it is 0.88%, as Siki said. So the PMT is negative 600.85. Negative 600.85. So that means each quarter you have to pay out $600.85 for the investment. And after you finish paying for 8 times or 2 years already, you should get 5,000. So that means, okay, let's try if just do something easily. We just multiply 685 by 8. We want to know how much do we really have to pay. You can see that actually the money that you pay out is $4,806.82. What about 5,000? 5,000 is $4,806.82 plus interest. So the rest of them will be interest that you get from the bank because you just like invest your money. Okay, and then you get 3.5% per year, right? So this is the way that we use in order to calculate the PMT. Okay, so just a little bit more. Let me just like talk about like what you did before. I found that many of you who say that you get the same answer as Anthony. Okay. It's because you didn't divide it by 4. 3.5%, don't forget that 3.5% is 3.5% per year, but you pay quarterly. Then you have to change 3.5 per year to be the quarterly rate first by divided number of quarter per year, that is 4, to get the correct value, that is 0.88. Okay, so be careful about this. As I told you earlier, many students did something wrong because they forget to convert the rate to be the rate per number of payment per year that you have to do. Okay, that is the first one. While some of you may just like calculate something like too detailed. For example, you may just like think that, oh, because as I told you earlier, 1 year we have 4 quarters and each quarter is 3 months, right? Somebody said, oh, I would like to make or convert the interest rate to be per quarter, then I divide it by 3. This one is wrong because in a year we have 4 quarters and 3 here. I guess that you come from 3 months. That is not the correct way. Okay, you have to divide by 4. Okay, just a little bit more. Okay, for what you did in this one. Okay, let me just see. Manit, you said that rate 3.5% by 12 and times 4. Okay, this one is a bit wrong because the rate, okay, what money did for us is here 3.5. Three point five, 3.5% divided by 12 times 4. Here, 4 here means 4 months, but in 1 quarter, each quarter is 3 months only. So that's why if you want to use this formula, okay, you have to times 3. Okay, you have to times 3, not times 4. Okay, so this is PMT function. Okay. Up to this point, do you have any question for the example?
How did you get the final amount, the 4,806 on the side?
One, right?
Yes.
I multiply 600 by 8 quarters.
Oh, I
Because
see.
you pay 8 times, right?
Okay.
So that's why this is the amount that you pay. Right. So any other questions? So if you don't have any questions, I have just like start posting some exercises for you already. So let me just like show my screen to you. Just won't be long. So right now, I just like post some exercises for you that you may be able to practice on it. It's here, okay? You can see that I post 6 exercises for you, okay? This one, we use like the basic calculation like if function for you to do. Just do some exercises that apply to our functions that we learned first. Okay, for any functions that are related to financial function that we haven't finished studying about it, you can wait until we finish. Okay. For these exercises, okay, I will just like give you the extra credit. What are we going to do? Okay. I would like you to finish these 6 exercises. I give you 2 weeks so that you have time to do it. That means the end of next week, okay, if you submit to me, you get extra credit. Number 1. Okay. So I'll just like put the submission for you in here. Please do it by yourself because I want you to practice it. Okay. So that means in these 2 weeks, I don't post the answer yet. I'll post the answer when the due date for the extra credit submission arrives. Submit it in 2 weeks. Okay. So the extra credit assignment will be due by the what to say, the 11th of October. Okay. Right. But you just like you can just complete it and then you can just like ask and discuss with me that whether it's correct or not or something like that before you submit, because it's not the quiz, it's just the exercise that I just like want you to practice. Okay. Right. Okay, then everyone, if you don't have any questions today, okay, before I finish the class, could you please turn on your camera so that I can capture the screen? Thank you. Okay. Okay, then everyone, I hope that you enjoy the rest of the day. You take care and stay safe. Okay. You have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye for now and see you on Wednesday. Bye bye. Take care.